Now that we have a graph of resistance against length for this wire, we need to consider the errors involved. If we go back to the table of data, we can see that there was an uncertainty of plus or minus 0.1 centimetres in the length of the wire and plus or minus 0.1 ohms in the resistance. And we're going to show those on the graph in the form of error bars. If we go back to the chart and click on it so that the chart tools become available, we can go to the Layout tab, Error Bars, and Error Bars with Standard Error. Those are just the default values, they're not the ones we want, so we're going to change them by right-clicking on the error bar and then going Format Error Bars. These are the horizontal error bars, we'll then do the same for the vertical ones. We want a fixed value, and it's in fact defaulted to 0.1, so we don't even need to change the text there. You can close that and do the same for the Y error bars, format error bars, fixed value, again it's 0.1. Now that's caused our length of wire scale to go down below 0, which we don't really want, so we can right click on that, format the axis and fix it to 0. As well as the error bars, we need lines of maximum and minimum fit. The first way to get an estimate for a line of maximum and minimum fit is to go from consider just the highest and lowest points on the graph. So we're going to have an extra mini table underneath here, the max fit lines, and then one for the minimum fit lines as well. The maximum fit line needs to start as far to the right as possible and finish as far to the left as possible. So we need our maximum value of our bottom data point and our minimum value of our top one. Now, since this data is not in order, it's going to make sense to sort that smallest to largest. That shouldn't have affected the graph. Nope, still fine. And so we can now say that the maximum fit line, the bottom point, is going to be equal to this plus 0.1, and at the top it will be equal to the highest one minus 0.1. And then for the y values, it will be going from 0 minus 0.1, it wants to start as low as possible, to 3.5 plus 0.1. And we can now put those values onto a graph. We're going to do that by going back to the chart, clicking on it so all the tools come up, and going to the Design tab and then select Data. We are going to add a new data series which we will call Max Fit, and the X values, we've clicked in the X values box, we need to go back to sheet 1 and select both the X values from the data. We then get rid of everything that was in the Y values box and choose the Y values from the data table. OK, OK, and we have only one visible red point because the other one will be just off the scale. We can now add a line of maximum fit. We're going to do that by right clicking on the red point, adding a trend line, and we'll display the equation on the chart. Now we don't want lots of black solid lines, so we're going to change the style to, I think we'll go for a dotted line for this one, and close that. Let's bring the equation down here with the best fit line one. Move that down a bit and add in that this is the max fit line equation. Now the maximum fit line is supposed to be the steepest line which will pass through all the error bars, so we do need to check that it does do that, and that looks like it's okay. It only just touches that one, but it does touch it, just about touches that one and gets to the top. We're going to hide this point though because we don't need that, we just needed it to construct the line. So if we right click on the point and format the data series, on marker options we can now go for none. And close that. So the point has now disappeared and we're just left with the max fit line. We need to do the same sort of thing for the minimum fit line. So this time we'll go from 0 minus 0.1 to 50 plus 0.1, and from 0 plus 0.1 to 3.5 minus 0.1. And we'll go back to the chart, design, select data, add min fit, then the x values are here and the y values are here. And there we have a green triangle this time showing the end of the point. Right click, add a trend line, display the equation, change it to perhaps a different type of dotted line, and close. And bring the equation down, call it the min fit line, and there we are. Now this line doesn't actually go through all the error bars. It starts off quite well going through all of these, but then it gets to these two and no longer goes through both of them. So we're going to have to make it a bit steeper. This first point, 5.0.2, is what looks to be the biggest problem. So we're going to use that one instead of the 0, 0 to create our line. So instead of having 0, 0 here, we're going to go for 5 minus 0.1 as our first point, and 0.2 plus 0.1 for the y value. If we go back to the chart, we can now see that the line of max fit has changed and it does now go through all the error bars. However, it's not now as long as we would want. So if we right click on it, we can format the trend line and forecast it backwards. We'll go for a nice big number so it definitely gets far enough, because the axis cut out and we'll stop it showing anyway. And that now goes back as far as the graph stretches. The equation of that will also have changed slightly. Once again, we can right click on the data point, format the data series, marker options none, and hide that point. So we now have a best fit line, a minimum fit line, a maximum fit line, all with their equations and with an equation R squared value for the best fit line as well.